beacon of strength, sharp-witted, beacon of strength, sharp-witted, unapologetic and unyielding in her stance. Yet behind the shining fame, Carrie's personal life was a maze of contradictions. She was an icon, yet behind that iconic role, she faced daily battles with her body, mind, and self-worth. Fame arrived too quickly for Carrie, and with it came a pressure that didn't allow her room to be fragile. Public smiles masked the turmoil she fought with internally. Despite her success, she rarely felt safe or good enough, constantly at odds with the image the world had placed on her. Her journey is one of complexity, not just a story of fame, but of a deeply human struggle. Stepping into the spotlight, Carrie's early introduction to the stage came with her role in the Broadway show Irene at just 15. This was her first taste of the spotlight, standing beside her mother under the harsh glare of performance lights. The experience taught her valuable lessons about maintaining composure in front of large audiences. But it came at a personal cost. Balancing a demanding career with schooling left Carrie with little time to develop a sense of normal childhood. Film was next, and her debut in Shampoo, 1975, marked her entry into Hollywood. Carrie's portrayal in the film was not as a starlet or someone relying on her family's fame, but as an actress with a distinct presence. It was a performance that gained critical attention and began to carve out her identity, separate from her mother's legacy. Still, the scrutiny never fully disappeared, and Carrie was left to prove herself in an industry where expectations often outweighed personal agency, struggling with expectations. The release of The Empire Strikes Back in 1980 brought even more pressure as Star Wars evolved into a cultural juggernaut. Carrie's life became a whirlwind of promotional events, filming schedules, and constant public appearances. It was during this time that she began to turn to substances as a means of coping, not out of rebellion, but as a way to numb the emotional toll that fame was taking on her. The world saw a polished, strong Princess Leia, but Carrie was battling exhaustion, self-doubt, and a growing sense of isolation. By the time Return of the Jedi, 1983, was released, Carrie found herself struggling with the image of the Slave Leia bikini, which became both an iconic symbol and a source of personal discomfort. Despite the character's victory over Jabba the Hutt, Carrie's struggle for agency over her own image was far from over. Navigating personal and professional turmoil, as Star Wars continued to rise in global popularity, the line between Carrie's character and her true self began to blur. At just 19 years old, she was caught in the throes of fame, emotional vulnerability, and a complicated relationship with Harrison Ford, who was significantly older and married at the time. The affair that blossomed between them was brief, but emotionally intense, leaving Carrie with mixed feelings of love, longing, and the weight of unequal power dynamics. Years later, she would reflect on this relationship in her 2016 memoir, The Princess Diarist, revealing the truth of her feelings. The revelation sparked a media frenzy, and although Carrie felt regret over exposing such a personal chapter, it also marked her attempt to regain control of her own narrative, unfiltered and unapologetic. A rare, enduring friendship. Throughout her career, Carrie also formed a special bond with Mark Hamill, her Star Wars co-star. Their connection was built on mutual respect and understanding, and it stood in stark contrast to the turbulent relationships she had with others in Hollywood. Unlike her relationship with Ford, her friendship with Hamill was grounded in equality, where no performance was required. The two shared a unique bond that lasted decades, one that didn't demand anything from Carrie other than to be herself. This relationship became a source of emotional stability for her, offering a rare place where she could exist outside of her public persona, rediscovering her voice. As Carrie Fisher's career progressed, she found herself often boxed into the same roles that mirrored her Star Wars persona. Hollywood struggled to find a place for a woman who was too intelligent, too outspoken, and too resistant to conform. It wasn't that Carrie lacked talent. She simply didn't fit the mold that Hollywood often sought. It was in this space that she pivoted to writing, using literature and personal experience as a tool for survival. Her 1987 novel, Postcards from the Edge, became a bestseller and was soon adapted into a film, where she co-wrote the screenplay. This marked a turning point in Carrie's career, where she was no longer just a face on screen, but an active creator of the stories she wanted to tell. It allowed her to reclaim her agency in an industry that had long tried to define her. A new role as a script doctor. As Carrie transitioned into writing and script doctoring, she began to reshape the way characters, especially women, spoke on screen. Her work as a script doctor was often done behind the scenes, with little fanfare or credit, yet it was crucial to the success of films like Hook, Sister Act, The Wedding Singer, and Lethal Weapon 3. Carrie's ability to infuse authenticity into dialogue became her hallmark. She refined scripts, often making characters sound more genuine, complex, and real. It was a quiet but powerful way for Carrie to exert control over the stories being told. The irony was not lost on her. The woman once confined by Leia now had a hand in shaping the voices of entire galaxies. Turning pain into art, in addition to her work as a script doctor, Carrie returned to the stage in an unflinching one-woman show titled Wishful Drinking. It was here that Carrie embraced her contradictions fully, speaking openly about her struggles with addiction, mental illness, and the complexities of fame. Her raw honesty resonated with audiences who found comfort in her ability to laugh through the pain. Carrie would later expand on these themes in her memoir, The Princess Diarist, where she re-examined her youth and the impact of her early fame. Through humor and brutal honesty, she took ownership of her story, reclaiming her narrative in a way that was both empowering and cathartic. The power of exposure. Carrie Fisher's legacy is one of defiance, not just against the expectations of Hollywood, but also against the personal demons she faced. She chose exposure, not to shock, but to own her story. While she never gained control over the inner turbulence that fame brought, she found power in telling the truth. Through her work as a writer, performer, and script doctor, Carrie Fisher left an indelible mark on Hollywood, not just as an actress, but as a voice that demanded authenticity in a world obsessed with perfection.